Okay, in this episode we're going to take a quick look at the new plastic box set from Wargames Atlantic, and that's the Foot Knights from 1150 to 1320 in a new series of plastics called the Age of Chivalry. So this is one of the new boxes from Wargames Atlantic. The Age of Chivalry, which is obviously a new period they're going to cover. What's good about this is that other manufacturers of plastic medieval miniatures either produce early medieval, so we're talking what would commonly be known as the Dark Age, your Vikings, your Saxons, or it's the later medieval period. So War of the Roses, Swiss, Lanchettes, that sort of period, those sort of ends. It's sort of like a top and tail of the Middle Ages. What Wargames Atlantic has done is gone, let's go smack in the middle. And so these are Foot Knights. Basically, these will cover you from, as they say on the box, from 1150 to 1320, which means it covers a lot of conflicts, especially in UK. So it will cover the anarchy, this sort of civil war between Matilda and Stephen de Blois. It will cover you the Barons' War. It will cover the campaigns in Scotland and Wales of King John. So you've got a lot of scope with this box, and the future boxes they'll produce within this range. So it'll do 24-part multi-part hard plastic 28mm figures. On the back it gives you some examples of what sort of types of figures you could build with this kit. Now you get 4 sprues. They are all the same. And you get a number of options on those sprues. So we'll just pop a sprue out of the box. I'll just have a look at what we've got here on the sprue. So the sprue will give us, let's just span that around. So it gives us, on each sprue you get six bodies, and then obviously six bottom half of the bodies and 6 top half of the bodies. Now, you get a number of shields. By the sort of 12th century, this style of shield, the kite shield, was being phased out. It was, and the knights and warriors were men at arms were tending to opt for these styles of shields. Around this sort of period, but these were still available. Some people were still using this design. So weapon options. So we've got a number of weapon options. Everything from hand axes, falchions, straightforward broadsword, two-handed axe. And then we've also got warhammers and a couple of mace. So you've got some options on the spear here as well. So you have got quite a lot of options of how to arm up your knights. And then helmet wise, let's just get this in a bit closer. We have a number of helmet options. And they're all from the period, and then there are a couple of unhelmeted options and sort of male coif, just the male coif there. So you've got a number of helmets, some that were obviously like this one here, which would have predated this. So this would have been sort of the period of sort of like 1066. That's that sort of era and onwards. And then you've got some of the ones that were more up to date for this period of the 12th century. So you also got some other little bits and pieces like this one, and the arm holding the helmet. So overall, you've got some quite good options there for this kit. like I said, it will build 24 miniatures, and you're going to have a lot of spares left over. I mean, these sprues are pretty well packed out. I have built some miniatures just to show you, to give you an idea of what they look like, and then I'll do a sort of spin round video of those in a minute. So yeah, these will cover a big chunk of the medieval period. You're getting basically, with this one kit, the ability to cover a sort of 200-year period within the medieval period, and it's sort of so I would call it the mid section of the medieval period. It's where a lot more sort of conflict was going on. You had, a lot of conflict in the UK. There was a lot of stuff going on off in Europe. Around this time, I think you had 100 Years' War around in this sort of chunk of period. So there was a lot going on. There's a lot of scope for these to use in a variety of different conflicts, which makes them a good versatile kit. I mean, this one kit will be, you can use for a lot of different conflicts within that period. So you're not going to need to go and buy this kit, then another kit, and another kit. This will suffice you for all that 200-year period, which is a good chunk of time. And that's not only UK but most of Europe. Most of Europe. It's not until you go sort of out towards the east of Europe where styles and things start to change a little bit. So most of sort of Western Northern Europe, these will work fine for. So this box set will cover, like I said before, it cover quite a large chunk of the medieval period. So it's essentially termed 200 years. And it'll go from the anarchy, which was the sort of a civil war fought between the forces of Matilda and Stephen, who were vying for control of the country in the 12th century. And for those that would like to maybe watch some television based on it, Cadfile was set in that period, around sort of the tail end of the anarchy. I think you can view it on UK Drama. It's an old program now, so you'll have to find it online to watch. But it kind of gives you a good taste of that period, and it will give you a good idea of colours and clothing and things like that. And it's quite a good one to watch. It's a mystery sort of whodunit sort of detective series set in that period in the 12th century. And like I said, it's set within that tail end of the anarchy period and coming out of the anarchy. Other periods that will cover is the Barons' War, and as you know, there's the Barons' War game. So these will be perfect for that, to putting together some foot knights. You will also get, if you're going to play the 100 Years' War, these are great for the 100 Years' War, the conflict between Britain and UK and France in the control of the sort of the Normandy area. These will also work for the rebellions in Wales, sort of like the uprising of Owen Glendower. It'll also work for King John's campaign in Scotland, and I think there's also the Crusades. I think it's the Second Crusade that occurs during this period, so it'll work for those. And then there's quite a few conflicts within sort of Western Europe that it'll work perfectly fine for as well. So you've got quite a lot of scope with this one box, and this Age of Chivalry series of miniatures that Wargames Atlantic are obviously planning to do now will give you a good chunk of that period and a lot of scope in playing games in the UK, in Britain and in continental Europe. So it's quite a good set to pick up. Like I said before, other companies that produce medieval, either produce early medieval or late medieval. There's not many people that are producing stuff within this sort of period. I think there may be one or two. Most of the manufacturers of this period tends to be metal. But yeah, it's a great little box. gives you a good chunk of miniatures, 24 foot knights, and hopefully we'll see some more boxes coming out over the next course of the next 12 months that will maybe include foot sergeants, cavalry, maybe bowmen, and other likes. These will also work for fantasy armies. For anyone that's thinking of, say, jumping into things like Old World Warhammer, Old World, these will work for Bretonnians, and they'll work with any sort of human standard fantasy army as well. And you could fantasize those by chucking in some sort of fantasy style creatures and mounts and stuff like that to make them look more fantasy. But yeah, this has a good scope of what different projects you could use these for. Anyway, that's all for this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.